Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 31 of Perfect Inspiration. My name is Brian Matias. Today I'm working on an image that I dug up in anticipation for kind of like the rainy season in Portland. For the past week or two we've been having pretty consistent rain, and the weather's getting to that point where I just go crazy. I absolutely love it. I love the rain because of what it does in terms of giving me reflections and playing off of the surfaces of the rock walls here in nature. But more than that, I also love the fog and the clouds that come with this type of weather. So what I wanted to do was dig back to a shoot that I had earlier this year with these same weather conditions. And I wanted to work on it just to get me excited about the kind of shooting I'm about to take part of in the coming weeks. So what I want to do is, before we do anything, this is a shot taken along the Columbia River Gorge in Multnomah Falls. And so you can see if we jump over to Chrome, I have here first this is the Columbia River. You can see the Columbia River going here, and it splits Oregon on the bottom and Washington State on the top. And then there's this beautiful highway called the Columbia River Highway, and the most popular falls, which this image is of Multnomah Falls. And so there's a really great parking area here in a visitor center. And if we go again to the street view, here is Multnomah Falls. It's really pretty, a bit overshot, but still beautiful nonetheless. So what I'm going to do is I want to take this into the suite. I'm going to right click over here, go to Edit In, and select Perfect Effects 4 to start working. All right, so here we are in Perfect Effects 4, and you see, if there's one of the things that I think turn a lot of people off from shooting this kind of environment is, look, this is straight out of camera. Nothing was done to this shot, but you can see that it's very, very bland. It's very flat because of how much atmosphere there is. And I think that turns off a lot of people. And for me, I know exactly what I can do here to bring out the image. And that's what I hope I can share with everyone through these episodes is, look, boring image, but with the tools that you have at your disposal, you can actually turn it into something really cool and really memorable. So the first thing I'm going to do before anything else is, under the effect options here, I'm going to drop down and I'm going to select Tone Enhancer. And you'll see how instantly it just cuts through most of that atmosphere. But I'm going to customize this. The first thing I'm going to do is take the local contrast and bring it up just a bit more. I want it to snap a bit more. And then what I'm also going to do is drop that brightness down because it's a bit too dark for me. And I'm going to bring up the contrast. Bring it down, it's a bit too much. So let's go to about there. Now I'm going to bring the overall strength down to 0, just so you can see this is what the original image looks like. And I don't need it to go to 100%. I'm going to go about 80%. That works. So you can see just right off the bat, if I turn the layer off, just what a beautiful job Effects does to cut through that and bring out all that really nice detail. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to give this image kind of like a nostalgic feel, something like you pulled out of a memory box. To do that, I'm going to go to the Solid Photo Filters category, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, and I'm going to select Yellow. Now, you could take yellow at face value, but for me, I'm actually going to go to the Options panel over here and start working with the blending options. The first thing I want to do is change the blending mode over to Overlay. Then I'm going to hit Apply, and I'm going to change that mode from subtle to strong. You can see how it really brings out those yellow tones. Now I'm keeping this at 100% because this is going to be the base of my image, this yellow tone. The tone enhancer was more just to get me to a nice starting line, but the yellow filter is really what's giving me the overall feel of the image. So I'm going to hit Add to start building on top of that. Next, I'm going to scroll up, go to the Glow category, and of course, no nature scene would be complete without my deep forest glow. I absolutely love this effect. And just like the previous effect, I'm going to go to the blending options and then select Overlay again. And way too strong at 100%, so I'm going to bring that down to 0. And I'm only going to add maybe about 45%. But give it this really nice, rich, contrasty glow. The last thing I'm going to do is click Add, and I'm going to build my own custom vignette under the effect options. The last option is the vignette. I'm going to go ahead and take the brightness all the way down. to about 80, 85. Nice strong vignette. I'm also going to change the mode from normal to subtle. Kind of changes the way that vignette looks. The midpoint here, I want that to go a little bit closer to the center, right around there. And then the feather I'm going to increase just to create more of a natural transition here. All right, so you can see if I toggle the before and the after, here's the before. Here's the after. It's a pretty striking difference. Now that I'm done, I'm going to hit apply to return back to Lightroom just to finish things off. All right, so here we are in the develop module of Lightroom, and I'm going to start by tackling the highlights, shadows, white, and black point. The way that I do that is press and hold the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC. Press and hold it, don't just press it, and drag on these sliders. And here I'm going to bring out the highlights just a bit until I start to see those dots. Same thing with the shadows. I'm going to bring the shadows out a bit though. You can see how we're getting a little bit more detail over here. I'm actually going to bring it out a bit more visually. White point, I think we're pretty good with the white point. I'm going to wrangle that back a bit just to recover the highlight over here. And the black point, I'm going to bring out the black point too, just a bit. And so you can see we're getting a really nice kind of exposure. And if I hit the backslash key, this is the image without those Lightroom adjustments we just made. And you see how much we've recovered like over here again. Just recovered a ton of data over here. All right, now I'm going to bring up the clarity. Add some crispiness to the shot and a little bit of vibrance. With that done, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here and I'm going to add a bit more of a vignette. And on top of that, I'm going to take my neutral density filter over here, go to exposure, and I'm going to drop the exposure just a bit from the top. Just like that. And so now you can see this is what we started with and then what we're able to do, you know, crappy weather, not the best time. I love it. This to me is the greatest thing in the world. And then using perfect effects, we're able to create this really awesome, memorable looking image. So I hope this helps you find out what it is that you love, or at least gives you an idea that you need to always be searching. And it might not always be the most convenient thing. It might not be the most pleasant thing. But by doing it, by really honing in on what you love, you'll instinctively find these amazing shots. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this video. Enjoy the preset that I used to create this look. And I look forward to seeing you next week for episode number 32.